helping your customer understand. Maybe they've shopped around and you charge, X for your ivory,
Right.
and then they can get it from somewhere else for $3 a square foot
We
cheaper.
so
Why is that?
we
And
charge 20 and they charge 16, and the client's
right,
like, "Well, I don't understand that." Well, I could call you and I could say, "Hey, give me some level C," right? You have it.
right. So we're
You have we buy a level A.
Yeah, so we're understanding the differences when we're looking at quality of looking at the side of the paver. How dense does it look, right? How soft is it? Is it going to stand up to erosion over time? That's what we're most worried about
Mhm.
with natural stone and longevity.
Filler.
Is does it have
All right, so this is Cody Johnson. He's a friend of mine, and we've known each other for like
10 years?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been building pools or own Regal for 15 years. Cody's been around for 10 years. And we talk about what he does and why it's important. Because it's important to know that Regal just doesn't do business with anybody. It's important that we have partners and vendors who believe in us and believe in our mission and our purpose here, building the most elite projects in the world. And so I want Cody to talk about what he does, what makes him unique, and why he's an asset to us. Because he knows, because I tell him all the time.
For sure, for
Okay,
sure.
let it rip.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Easy.
Yeah, so I'm a area sales manager for Heritage Pool Supply Group. Been with this company for close to 2 years now. Been in the industry about 10 to 11 years. Known you for
And you were
pretty much
doing the
the whole
same thing
thing.
you were doing now. You were just somewhere else, and now you've got a better opportunity to
Right,
get.
right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've moved up from started in a sales rep position, account rep position, and I've been a product specialist for hardscapes and building materials over the years. Managed a branch for a little while, and then now I manage a sales team. About for about 18 of our locations.
And you also don't do just pools when it comes to stone. You do homes,
That's right.
driveways,
Yeah,
everything.
definitely. Yeah, we're a all-encompassing distributor for the builder, for the industry. So we don't touch just pool builders. We work with landscapers, home builders, architects, you name it. We want to be that one-stop shop for all things construction, outdoor living for sure.
And it's important that we have your product, or I would refer as that when we pick things or materials that go on our pools, we put them in the most harmful conditions in the world. We
Sure.
super humidity, it rains all the time.
Yes.
We have like windstorms. We've got Houston IAH flying over us with
Yep.
chemicals. You know that dumps in our pools.
Freeze thaw events,
Yeah,
great freeze in Texas here, harsh pool environments, whether it be salt, acidic conditions, calcium, high calcium in water, you name it. So yes, definitely harsh environments, whether it's on the outside of a home or in a swimming pool.
so that's why it's important to make sure that we're using the proper materials.
Definitely to be mindful of what we're putting on a pool. Aesthetic is important, right? But functionality and longevity, the importance of evaluating materials we're using on our projects. Aesthetic is important, but functionality and longevity is an important aspect, but something that gets overlooked a lot of time. We want something beautiful, but we want it to stay looking beautiful for a long time, and that's where we can come in to collaborate with your team that we do on a daily basis on projects. And you have an amazing team that brings these parts to light to their customers to make sure that they're educating them on what they're investing in on their home and making sure that, as I said, it looks beautiful for a long time. So
Yeah, like we don't just put anything on a swimming pool because we know there'll be failures. Everybody right now, the trend is let's go pick a white decking.
right.
I'm like, yeah, well, how's your driveway doing, bro? Because like all that stuff just settles there, and then you have maintenance. A lot of people freak out about maintenance on decks because they don't know about it because we don't sit there and talk to them about it for an hour while we're building the pool. But we put sand. A lot of the times we have a really good dirt here, so we use sand base on
Mhm.
poly sand or stabilized sand, sorry, and we'll set the paver so there is movement over the course of X amount of years. So you
Sure.
need to call us. There is some maintenance to it of calling us and having us. Like you've got to power wash your deck. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about longevity of taking care of your stuff that's sitting outside in these
Sure.
harmful
Sure.
conditions. So what do you like? How do you take care of your deck at your house? I think that's an easier way to.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, I have a marble deck in my backyard, I think marble's a dense, like, high quality, durable material. Biggest thing is just surface dirt, right? So it's just a simple, "Hey, we're starting the season out for the swim season, give it a quick power wash." It's a weekend, weekend honey-do list job.
Yeah.
Get out there, wash it down for a couple of hours.
And you don't need like a 5,000 PSI. You can go Home
Oh,
Depot,
no,
get an electric one.
certainly not. Yeah, no, and we're only really removing surface dirt and just getting it looking, nice and clean again for
Right.
the year, and, you might do that 2 or 3 times throughout the year. The rest of the time, it might be as simple as just blowing it off with a leaf blower,
Mhm.
right? Or whether it's your lawn crew or you.
Like, you gotta take
Um
care of it. You can't just let seeds and stems
Definitely, and I think the
take
bigger thing for true longevity on natural stone or really any patio, whether it's cement-based or natural stone-based is considering, ceiling and what's getting on my deck. Is it in a place I have an outdoor kitchen where I'm gonna be risking dripping food or wine or drinks on it, where, maybe I wanna consider high quality sealers or making sure that, I'm mindful of cleaning up if I do notice a spill or something like that, and is not letting it just sit, or, flower pots are a big thing, making sure we're putting something underneath our big pots that leave rust stains, or furniture that may be wearing down that has metal and rust. So being mindful of things like that. But the nice thing is with the products that we sell, almost everything is fixable, right, over time, and that's also education as well, is not feeling stuck as a homeowner or as a consumer that something's not looking the way I wish it would, and knowing who they can consult and come to you guys to say, "Hey, like, what can we do to bring my deck or my patio looking great again?"
Yeah, and we do have a lot of or it has happened in the past where vendors will get their materials in here that aren't outdoor rated or they're not water rated, and we have to take those and throw them in the trash, and we'll find
Certainly.
out quick like, it's not even me, it's Jessica, Janet, Madison. They know materials so well that I don't have to do any of that,
Mhm.
and you know it so well, so they're always like, "Well, Cody knows it so well," so I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't have to deal with it." That's the truth, but we do kind of freak out about, well, just it's a huge investment. You put a $20,000 deck down, and the
Right.
client's not expecting to have to seal it, or they're not expecting to have any type of, maintenance on it, then that's unrealistic expectations, and they usually get pissed in the end and not during it when
Definitely.
it's first laid out. So
Yeah.
we're trying to get ahead of that, and, you brought in some colors that aren't stark white, so I'm happy with that because
Yeah, definitely.
as a guy who has to fix the problems, that I would definitely recommend not going stark white unless you wanna clean your deck 4 or 5 times a year, which isn't a big deal.
You hit a good point. It's a term we coin a lot is, managing expectations of our
Yes.
customers, right? Being realistic and not telling people what they want to hear,
That's why I'm
right?
making this video. These
Yes.
videos is only for our clients to really understand the details that go into this and why it's not just a swimming pool.
Sure.
Why I don't call Floor& and Decor to get my glass tile. Why I don't call, why I could just import it from China, right?
Sure.
Like, I have that ability, but
Sure.
I would never do that because if something had a failure, I could never call somebody and ask them for help like we can ask you for help.
Definitely.
And you have the ability to say, "Okay, yep, okay, I'll send you some new stuff," and it's just not even a question, it's just, like, the flow state of our
Right.
business.
Well, yeah, we do
Super
fully
easy.
stand behind our products, but
Yeah,
the extra step of that is not only helping you go through issues, but understanding why, if there is an issue,
yeah.
is our biggest thing. Is we can help somebody can help you replace material or give you free material or something if there's a failure or something like that. But
Why?
if we don't understand why
Yeah,
and we don't become investigators of why to get to the bottom of that, then things are gonna happen again. They're destined to repeat themselves. So
yeah.
the most important thing is working with people who have knowledge and working through experts, and that's why we have very strong partners from our suppliers that come from all around the world, that they are also intimately
And you
involved
and you
in
prefer
our
to know that.
process. Yes,
I
definitely.
know you know. So,
Yes.
most people don't have the source to go to the source, and we do because
Right. Right.
we know him.
Yeah. It's a relationship amongst all of us, from the people who are mining the product and fabricating the product all the way down to you guys as the installers. It's an important relationship for all of us to be intertwined and working together. We're all business partners, whether you buy directly from them or not, because we're all reliant on each other for the whole supply chain to work properly.
Yeah. So that's what I want to emphasize in this video is it's not just about making it look pretty, but you got to make it functional. You got to make it last a long time, and you have to have a company that's behind you, not just you, but Regal that is behind you. When anything does go wrong, we can take care of it. We don't run from the problem. So we have two dedicated guys who drive around, do warranty, Robert and Josh. They're savages. They execute. They make sure the client's happy because the client doesn't know. They always freak out.
Sure.
Always freak out. My stone fell off. Like, this is happening. It's like, it's all good, man. We see that 20 times a year. We're going to go fix that for you. It's not, again, the crappy weather, it's so much movement in our clay. There's not a lot of movement because our movement in our clay is actually really good. We don't have a lot. We're blessed with red clay. We dig pools and I've never seen a rock. I have some friends in Austin. That's all they do is chip pools. It takes them 2 weeks to excavate. We just did the giant one. It took like a day and a half and it has like 500 feet of walls,
Right.
It's a massive project and they can just cut through that. So let me ask you a question off my sheet. What are some problems that do come up with natural stone that we have to deal with? We talked about them just a second ago, but is there anything else that sticks out in your mind?
I'd say it in a few ways. I mean, for starters, we talked about selecting stone and things. I think a common thing that pops up early on before we've even installed product is quality, right? And I think a common misconception with natural stone products, especially in our industry, is understanding differences of quality and what I'm actually buying,
Yeah,
right?
like A, B,
Right.
C.
Yes, there's a price, right? And we all
Right.
want a great price,
Yeah.
but we also need to understand the relationship between price and quality.
Right.
And, a lot of names get thrown around for like travertine products in particular, which is the most common natural stone used on swimming pools in this market. And just because something's called an ivory or a silver, and helping your customer understand, maybe they've shopped around and you charge X for your ivory,
Right.
and then they can get it from somewhere else for $3 a square foot
We
cheaper. Why is that?
we
And
charge 20 and they charge 16 and the client's
right,
like, "Well, I don't understand that." Well, I could call you and I could say, "Hey, give me some level C," right? You have it.
right. So
You have we buy a level A.
yeah, so we're understanding the differences when we're looking at quality of looking at the side of the paver. How dense does it look, right? How soft is it? Is it going to stand up to erosion over time? That's what we're most worried about with natural stone and longevity.
Filler.
Is does it have massive pores on the top that water can get into over the winter? And then if we do have a big freestall event, the worry is water seeping in, freezing, expanding, and then cracking some of my larger pavers as an
Yeah.
example,
We've
or
had problems where not from you, but from other vendors. They'll send it we'll see something in here, and then they send us something with a bunch of holes and a bunch of filler in it, and we're like, "Hey,
yeah,
Jack, get this back," because 'cause they're
definitely.
trying to get over on.
Showing you what you wanna see as an
Yeah,
example, and that's the other important part, once again, managing expectations, right?
yeah,
Just because a homeowner is in making selections and they see this beautiful, perfect piece of stone in a builder's showroom, and the salesperson isn't explaining that, or, you guys have invested in
right,
a large outdoor display to show large swatches of this product, not just one perfect piece.
right,
When I set up
inconsistencies.
my displays with you, I don't bring you 20 perfect pieces out of the crate that were hand selected. We want to be realistic in our expectations that we give, and not give this false sense of perfection,
And that's why
right?
we go to you guys because we don't have to dig through the pallets.
Right. Yeah, great. And that's the thing, we want our customers to appreciate the beauty of a natural stone, and that it isn't perfect. It's imperfect. It's made by God. It's made by the earth, not by human hands. It's
Right,
not going to be perfect. And also that's why we do offer
porcelain.
perfect products. We all if we have a customer that wants uniformity and perfection and know exactly what to expect and one piece looks like every, then we have those products.
Let me talk
Natural
about
stone may
por
not be for them.
porcelain.
Yes.
Everybody thinks it's 24 by 24, but it's really like, I can't tell you, 24 to
Nominal, it's
316
yeah,
by
instead of 4 square
20.
feet, it's 3.875
Dude,
square feet.
so let's talk about that because, we have a lot of clients who love straight lines. I like straight lines.
Sure.
It's cool. But what you don't realize is the construction variables, the slopes in the deck that we have to tiles flat and we have to slope the deck so that way we have these monsoons. It actually drains out into our
Right.
street, gets away from your house. But you have to think about You laying a porcelain deck and thinking it's gonna be totally like, totally flat, that's not gonna happen. It's going to have some pitch, and it's gonna have some thing well, we're actually doing cool things with pitch. We're just sloping the whole yard and then putting channel drains now
Okay.
instead of trying to direct it into 4-inch drains, but just talk about that.
Yeah, well, I think once again, it's you guys taking the next step to be prepared in the upfront in the selling process, right? For a common issue in the industry is having designers design something beautiful and amazing, but is it buildable, right? I'm sure you guys have tackled that and tried to
Well, does it
uh,
look like shit? Yeah.
improve that process. So yeah, but
From the
is it functional too, right? Yes,
yeah.
porcelain is a rapidly growing category in the industry, but it presents a whole new list of installation challenges from
Yeah.
cutting to sloping, are probably the 2 biggest challenges, um, of that product line, right? So everything has a pro and a con, right? And it's making sure once again, where we come in, helping our builders to educate them, bringing in the experts from the porcelain manufacturers that are experts in installation and going to the field that we've done before with your crews
Yeah.
and getting real world hands-on training and experience because that's really the best way
It's
to
it's
do it.
it's so Edwin and I are dealing with some stuff right now. We just decided a couple days ago, we're like, "Hey, bro, if we try anything new, because we're always doing new stuff. If we buy new swim jet, if we do something new, if we put a new piece of plastic in the side of our pool, let's have the guys there that actually are telling us how to install it. Let's install it the correct way with them there the first time, and then we're ready to rip." But
Yeah.
sometimes we're pulling them out of the package and reading
What are we not
instructions.
thinking about? What
What
are we overlooking? We're gonna change this.
well,
What is this gonna change that we don't realize?
so our minds
Yeah,
race like that, and that's sometimes all we can think about at night is how we can improve the thing that we didn't do right that day, the next day. That's
sure.
why we're like, you see a lot of pool companies come and go, but that's the difference between us is that we fix everything, we know how to build everything, and then we do stuff that nobody else is doing it,
Sure.
is our goal.
Yeah.
But that's what I want another thing that I wanna emphasize is, like, you can like, you could just go start a pool company, you can build a pool, and you can make some money, but at the same time, they're gonna be gone, it's not gonna last forever, and then you're gonna be calling us for a remodel, and that's what I wanna emphasize to our clients is that we're going to build it right the first time. You can be out there running around like Bobby the Builder thinking we're not, but at the end, it's gonna be amazing, and we're gonna stand behind it for sure.
Definitely. Well, for most most consumers, this would be, apart from buying their actual house, probably one of the largest investments
Yeah,
they'll ever make, so
unless you drive a Ferrari.
yeah.
And
Yeah, we can all hope, right? Maybe one day.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a massive investment and shouldn't be taken lightly, so you should be, doing your homework and your research and understanding who is this person that I'm trusting to
right.
build this massive investment for me and this thing that, is gonna bring hopefully so much joy to my family you know,
Yeah.
for many, many years to come.
And that's why we're expensive because of
Right.
that. It's not because we're
Sure.
trying to build generations worth of wealth here. It's not that. We wanna build pools, but we wanna build into a higher quality product than anybody else, and I keep saying, like, anybody can build a pool because it's true. You can go on YouTube. There's a bunch of people in Houston that do that, and they love it. I'm sure they make money, but we have stuff that you can see the receipts, you can see the reviews. Not everybody loves us, but at the end of the day, every one of our projects is badass, and I would put it against anybody else's project because I always not to put you on the spot, but talking about me and Regal, I always make a joke, like, every time we go to a backyard and it's real life, I look over the fence and I'm like, "Yours is gonna be better than that," and they always love hearing that. 'Cause and it's true, like, I've never built a pool next to somebody else's house, and I don't know who's building it. I'm sure they're amazing, but they don't put any thought, creativity, and love and passion into their backyards. They just get a pool. But you can call those guys, you can get a pool, or you can call us who have relationships with Cody's who have been doing it so long that we understand what it takes to put into a good quality project, which means you might have to pay 3 or $4 more per square foot, but it's gonna last 3 or 4 times longer.
The beautiful thing about being in a market like Houston is we're large enough for the consumers to have a broad range of choices
Yeah,
from the, low budget, budget friendly builders all the way up to, turnkey high end builders that are building entire backyards,
yeah,
and home additions and everything else
yeah,
along with it and there's great people on both sides that they can find. So it's good to have
yeah.
trustworthy builders from the whole from every price range.
Yeah.
But not always the easiest thing to find. So
But if you want badass stuff, you call us.
yes.